coming, but it's here.
New testing for cancer-causing chemicals at Poe Hall. The aggressive court battles that led to it, and how cancer patients who worked inside the building are reacting.
The 4-year saga in a series of pellet gun shootings appears to be coming to a close. Hear from attorneys in the Henderson-Atwater case before the jury comes to a verdict.
Skateboarders shredded their way to medals today, and the women's rugby team made Olympic history, including 2 players from Carolina. That story coming up.
I'm tracking rain and storms this evening and overnight, what your town could see and when. And the area we're closely watching in the tropics and when it could impact the Carolinas.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Hazmat crews continue to respond to a gas leak in downtown Raleigh. Boy, a lot of us were caught up in this traffic today. In the last 30 minutes, they managed to turn off the gas, stopping the leak. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. The scene is on West Davie and McDowell Street. Sections of the road are still blocked. Brett Neese is in the breaking news tracker. Let's go to him live. Brett, how much longer might this last?
Gerald, these crews expect this to last for another couple of hours into the later evening hours here in the downtown area as they work to fix what was broken earlier today around 12:30. This scene has changed dramatically within the last 30 minutes. I'm going to step behind the camera and show you what is different now. All you'll see is a bunch of Dominion Energy trucks instead of the firefighters that were out here about 30 minutes or so ago. You can see a number of those crews up there. They're right there between all of those crew members is where the initial gas leak happened. That's where one of those construction equipment users broke that pipe around 12:30 today. That caused that leak, which actually forced them to evacuate this Wake County office building behind those trees there. I want to show you some video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker earlier here in the evening when all the firefighters were out here. That'll give you a sense of how big this scene was. They really took this seriously. They were going around. They were out here. A number of different firefighters were out here going around and doing a number of readings, a number of testings at the different buildings, including this apartment building, which is right here on McDowell Street. They never had a high enough reading in this building that caused them to evacuate it. However, they evacuated that one office building, and then there's a new Homewood Suites that's being built here on this corner. They sent that construction crew home as a precaution as well. I'm going to stay out here and monitor this in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker and let you know when it is fixed and when these roads reopen. Live in Raleigh, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
WRAL first sent out an alert on the gas leak around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Make sure to download the free WRAL News app and be the first to know about breaking news in your area. We will send updates right to your phone.
Rainy days and Mondays. Boy, the rain is back this week after a beautiful weekend. This is video of the rain that fell at Dix Park today. You can see those big drops in Raleigh. This is what it looks like now. Not a whole lot different, but you can tell that the rain has tapered off. Meteorologist Mike Mays joins us now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Mike, some of us even have a chance for storms tonight.
Yeah, I'm watching the possibility of something coming after midnight tonight. I'll show you on Futurecast in a moment. But we've all had the dreary look today, kept temperatures down. 77 the high out at RDU, 78 in Fayetteville. And that widespread rain that we saw earlier today is gone. So for the next few hours, I think it'll end up being dry. We're going to watch storms off to the west that could be marching their way into the area after midnight tonight. Futurecast shows them tonight at 6 o'clock over toward the Charlotte area, 7 o'clock as well. By the time we get to 10 o'clock, some of that could be skirting the Sandhills. Notice a little bit of activity that comes here after midnight. That's a 50% chance for showers and some storms. And by 6 a.m., there could be a little bit of activity left over. Now, there's other things to talk about tonight. We have something in the tropics the Hurricane Center has their eyes on. I pointed this out last Friday. Nothing really organized right now, but over the next 7 days, once it gets into this arena, it has the possibility of developing. The European model carries it up into the Carolinas. The American model carries it toward the Gulf of Mexico. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, I'll track what the European model shows and where it could go.
All right, Mike, thank you. New testing is underway at NC State's Poe Hall. Workers in protective suits and masks walked around the building today, trying to get a better picture of the source for toxic PCBs. This is the start of testing by experts who are not affiliated with the university, and it's all expected to last all week.
More than 200 people told WRAL they developed cancer after spending time in Poe Hall. Those people want to know if the PCBs in the building contributed to their diagnosis and say the university hasn't done enough to answer that question. WRAL's Eric Miller joins us now live from the NC State campus. How is this going to be different from what's already been done, Eric?
Well, Deborah, the biggest difference is that the investigators who have been walking through these doors today, they were hired by cancer patients, not by the university. This independent testing coming after months of criticism by former students and staff.
The sign may say closed, but Monday, the doors on Poe Hall were once again cracked open. Employees from multiple environmental testing groups putting on masks and stepping inside. These crews trying to answer a key question. Just how common are cancer-causing PCBs inside this building, and where are they coming from?
Big day. Very big, long time in the coming.
For people like Sandy Alford, a former student at Poe Hall diagnosed with cancer, this day has been a long time coming. Alford and other former students and staff who spent time at Poe have been critical of NC State, arguing 2 previous rounds of testing sponsored by the university haven't been thorough enough.
Let's find out what's in there and let's find out what it is and what it isn't.
This testing comes after a settlement between NC State and Darren Major.
Center getting treatment. There's my IV pole.
Major, a former NC State grad student battling leukemia, fought the university all the way to the state Supreme Court, hoping to gain access to Poe after NC State refused to allow large-scale independent testing of the building. The university had argued its own testing, done by a firm called Geosyntech Consultants, was sufficient. However, experts WRAL spoke with earlier this year criticized Geosyntech's methods.
That sampling analysis underestimates significantly the real exposure that people had.
Monday, Geosyntech employees were back at Poe Hall, among the dozens making their way inside to resume testing, a sign of hope for cancer patients like Sandy Alford.
For me, and I think for everybody else, it's just getting the truth out of what's in there.
Now, as to what and exactly how much testing these independent crews are going to be doing inside, that remains confidential. Still, we spoke with an NC State facilities employee off camera today. He told us that he's been guiding these crews around, showing them key areas, including the air handlers. Those are the big machines that help drive the HVAC system inside this building. And that's key because the last testing done by the university, that was back in June, it found the HVAC system was the source of these PCBs. Of course, we'll be looking very closely to see what the results of this testing may be going forward. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Wake County jurors are gone for the day after spending hours deliberating this man's fate. Henderson Atwater is charged in a case involving a string of pellet gun shootings. WRAL was in the courtroom today as both sides gave their closing arguments. Atwater spent nearly 3 years in jail awaiting trial while maintaining his innocence. WRAL's Sean Gallagher joins us live from outside the courthouse. And Sean, there has been a lot of question about the evidence in this case.
Yeah, that's for sure, Gerald. And Atwater's attorneys say the investigation is just riddled with holes, while the state counters that Atwater is the common denominator across dozens of pellet gun shootings in Holly Springs.
He is the common denominator.
Is this investigation reliable?
The saga of a string of pellet gun shootings is nearing its end. Wake County Assistant District Attorney Casey Young spent over an hour detailing each pellet gun shooting during her closing arguments. Young says Atwater's silver Volkswagen Jetta was spotted at nearly every scene.
When you get enough coincidences, they start becoming the truth, right? Think about it. Mr. Atwater's not just the unluckiest person on the entire world.
Most of these cases involve property damage, but one victim was hit in the head, just above the eye.
I mean, an inch or two lower, would she have been blinded? Would it have lodged itself into her eye, into soft tissue, possibly through her skull? That's very serious.
And there are, from our standpoint, reasonable doubts.
Atwater's attorney Chad Axford pointed out the single-shot pellet gun the state believes Atwater may have used would not be capable of shooting that many times in a short distance.
Load. Shoot. In 750 feet. Is that reasonable? the state has to be more specific.
Axford spoke to me during deliberations, saying the evidence presented isn't strong enough to say Atwater's behind all of these shootings, including no weapon and no proof Atwater was actually pulling the trigger.
Okay, all right, what did they really prove? You know, proving a coincidence is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Now, this was day 6 of this trial for the jurors, but they will be back for a day 7. They left about an hour ago, but will return for deliberations tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News, Wake County.
Let's take you to Paris, where a swimmer from NC State will compete for a gold medal. Catherine Burkhoff finished second in her semifinal heat of the 100-meter backstroke. Oh, just so close, right? She finished 0.3 of a second behind world record holder Regan Smith. The final is tomorrow at 2:55 p.m.
Very exciting. We have much more on the Olympics just ahead. Of course, WRAL is your home for the 2024 Summer Games. Swimming, gymnastics, fencing, basketball. Liz McLaughlin has it all right after the break with a live report from Paris.
First, scammers exploit the popularity of work from home. 5 on Your Side found they are stealing money from workers in our area. Coming up, we show you how to spot these bogus jobs.
Ahead for us, our team in California tonight with the heartbreaking story of a survivor who fled the deadly campfire of 2018, now facing evacuation from the new fire. And what's it like to be the parents of top Olympic athletes? That and more tonight on Nightly News.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Here is a 5 on your side alert. Scammers are exploiting the popularity of work from home to steal money from people in our area.
It shook me to the core so bad that it took away all of my trust in humankind.
Kaylee Arthur explains what happened and the 5 red flags to look for to make sure it doesn't happen to you.
You upload your resume, apply to as many jobs as possible, but instead of getting an offer, you get scammed out of thousands of dollars.
I've always liked the nautical beach stuff.
Her favorite beach thing? Lighthouses.
We've already toured most of the lighthouses that are in Florida.
This landlocked resident plans to travel as many places as possible. But with flights to New England, the Florida coast, and the Great Lakes as expensive as they are, she uploaded her resume to Career Builder and began job hunting.
Actually, they found me. They sent me an email on my phone that said they had been looking at career builders and that they liked my resume.
How did you feel when you heard that?
Of course you feel flattered, you know.
That's when they got her. The scammers sent her a check for $3,200 telling her it was for equipment. They then instructed her to deposit that into her own bank account and then send that money on to an equipment seller on Zelle. Big mistake. The next day, Bryant learned that the money in her bank account from that check was actually no good. So the bank then used Bryant's own money to cover the Zelle payment, meaning she was out all of that money.
Oh, it's a huge problem right now.
Sally Starfield, a human resources consultant, says scammers often contact you at odd hours due to the different time zones they may live in. Real companies never send checks for equipment. They provide that equipment directly. Scam messages may have odd phrasing due to language barriers or AI. And real companies ask for references and require interviews.
Even with remote jobs, there is going to be some face-to-face contact with someone from the company. With these scammers, there is not face-to-face contact.
And if you don't think this could happen to you, think again. According to the Better Business Bureau, employment scams ranked as the second most common scam in our area.
It's affected my life. It's affected my marriage. It's affected everything.
Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
Every day of the Paris Olympics has brought emotional moments and big headlines. Among the biggest today, the U.S. men earned their first team medal in gymnastics in 16 years. The U.S. women continue their trek toward an 8th straight gold medal in basketball.
And of course, NC State's Catherine Burkhoff gets a shot at a medal in the 100-meter backstroke. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin is taking it all in live from Paris. Liz, you were there for the skateboarding competition today, too. Quite an excitement there at that venue.
That's right, Deborah. It's one of my favorite sports, and Snoop Dogg, Tony Hawk, the OG, were in the house cheering on Team USA, and a really young, enthusiastic crowd. And of course, I'm bringing you guys swag every day, so I'm wearing one of the uniforms. The entire podium actually made by the same designer, a Converse skater in partnership with Nike, and who dressed Japan and the US. And skaters were able to choose from a number of different styles. You can see one here, kind of looks like a basketball jersey, and we've got kind of a baggier look here with the embroidered eagle with a saxophone. And skaters get to choose what they want to wear as a reflection of that individual creativity that goes into the sport.
Yeah, if he could get a trick in the 94 range right now, it could change everything.
Team USA street skateboarders,
And I guarantee you, he just did it.
pulled off podium performances. Arizona native Jagger Eaton a silver, edged out narrowly by Japan in the sport that made its Olympic debut in Tokyo. And California's Nigel Houston won his first Olympic medal, landing bronze.
Special moment for skateboarding. It's a special moment for Team USA. It's just a special moment. I'm grateful to be involved.
Where are you from? Superfan Vivian Robinson came from LA to cheer on Team USA. And the men's gymnastics team gave her ample reason, making history with a bronze finish, the first medal in 16 years for Team USA. U.S. swimmers made a splash, with Ryan Murphy bagging bronze for a three-peat Olympic medal in the 100-meter backstroke. And Luke Hobson was selfie-ready with his fellow medalists after getting bronze in the 200 free. In the women's 400 IM, Katie Grimes snagged second, ahead of teammate Emma Wyatt in third.
That's a really good restart.
In rugby sevens, the U.S. women advanced to semifinals after a 10-point win over Great Britain, with Christy Kirsch getting the go-ahead try early in the second half. At Roland Garros, longtime rivals Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal squared off for what could be the final time. Djokovic delivered an ace to close out the match in a straight-set win.
And the women's rugby team making history by advancing to the semifinals for the first time. If they win their game tomorrow against New Zealand, they'll play the winner of the Australia-Canada match for the gold. Deborah?
Boy, it's just so excitement. Every day brings something more exciting than the last. It's great. Thank you, Liz. WRAL is your home for the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics. Liz joins us again tonight for a special edition of the Olympic Zone right here at 7:30. Then tune in to primetime tonight at 8 for the best of today's Olympic coverage.
And I'm here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with meteorologist Mike Mays. Mike, everything clearing out right now. How long are we going to be able to see the sky?
Probably until about 11 o'clock tonight, and then some thunderstorms off to the west should start to move in. They're around the Charlotte area right now, near Gastonia too. They'll slowly sag to the east and southeast. So what we're going to watch for is what is up in the high country right now and up toward Yadkinville. That will be making its way to the east and southeast and should be here after midnight tonight. I'll keep an eye on it for you. You can tune in at 11 on WRAL, and I'll look at the radar to see what progress that has made. So a small chance for some rain this evening, only about a 20% chance through 11, and then rain chances go up to 40 to 50% from 1 a.m. to about 4 a.m. Don't be surprised if you're trying to sleep tonight and you hear the rumble of thunder. That is a possibility. WRAL Live Cam Network, the Durham Bulls have the tarp on the infield because of all the rain they had today. Fayetteville, a little bit of sun looks like it's trying to peek through. Top of the Hill Restaurant in Chapel Hill, we see the overcast, and from North Hills, the overcast too. Won't see the overcast tomorrow, so we do expect it to be warmer. 77 today at RDU, 78 in Fayetteville. Fayetteville right now 75, 76 in Raleigh. Notice those dew points, they're rather high. They're going to stay in the steamy category through the rest of the week. And as the temperatures go up, the heat index values will as well. And they'll probably be 105 to 107 by the end of the week. So if you work outside for a living, get ready for the bigger heat. So it's a little unsettled out there right now. Tomorrow there's a chance for storms. Wednesday, the chance backs off as a ridge of high pressure builds in from the west. And as I told you at the top of the newscast, we're watching this little little area of low pressure that is making its way to the west-northwest probably won't develop into much until this weekend. So let's track it with the European model, showing where the tuft of clouds and showers and thunderstorms would go by Wednesday morning, make its way near Puerto Rico, near Hispaniola by Friday morning at 2 a.m. Now, the European model doesn't really have it developing until it makes its way to the Bahamas. And until it really takes on some kind of closed circulation that the models can initialize off of, the models probably are going to be out to lunch until that point. So it may not be until the last minute that we get an idea where this is going to go. So pretty much this is speculation right now. Don't hang your hat on this model. Don't be too concerned, but just keep in the back of your mind if you have to make any plans down east of the coast. This is one possible scenario. Sunday at 8 o'clock, and then by Monday at 11 o'clock, closing in on South Carolina. Previous runs have had it up here. The American model has it out here. So keep checking back. I will have updates coming up in the next few days. Storms possible tonight, and over the next 7 days, the heat is on the rise. Upper 90s Thursday and Friday. The heat will back off this weekend as rain chances do go back up. 95 on Saturday, 93 Sunday, 92 on Monday, with about a 50% chance for showers and storms. But in the meantime, get ready for more baking heat. The good news is it won't last long.
All right, Mike.
The IBMA World of Bluegrass won't return to Raleigh next year. Today, the group announced its new home in Tennessee. However, Raleigh isn't quitting on their tradition. How the city plans to replace it coming up.
This is the last year the IBMA World of Bluegrass will be in Raleigh. Next year, the festival moves to Chattanooga, and it'll stay there for at least 3 years.
Raleigh will still have a big bluegrass festival next fall, just under a new name. The Raleigh Wide Open Bluegrass Festival will be in downtown in September of 2025. It's a callback to the original Bluegrass Festival in 2005. Remember that when we called it Wide Open then? Yes, as we have seen over the past 20 years, the city expects tens of thousands of people to attend.
All right. Thank you for watching. We are minutes away from NBC Nightly News. Tonight, the story of a survivor who fled the deadly campfire of 2018. And we'll hear from the parents of the top Olympic athletes.